Let's move on to the equities market. Your work here on the price-to-earnings ratio, you take a long, hard look at the price-to-earnings ratio. Coming in on the S&P, I think you put it in at around 15. And a lot of folks think, that's well off the highs of 22. What's the problem here? The Mogambo says the problem is we should be at 4 or 5. That's a long way to go, isn't it?
You would think, wouldn't you, Chris? I mean, you would think. I can't believe that people are bidding up the price of stocks this high. And look at what they've done to bonds. Well, it's because of what they've done to bonds. Where else can you go with that kind of money? We're talking trillions of dollars of money. Where can you go with that kind of money? Except in the stocks and bonds. So it's got to be one or the other. Bonds are paying nothing. The 2-year note is yielding less than 1/2 of 1%. Less than 0.5% for 2 years. Inflation, according to John Williams, that's running over 8% for crying out loud. So you're losing 7.5% of your buying power.
I just spoke with the venerable Shadow Stats icon. He pointed out maybe part of the problem, Mogambo, not only do we have high unemployment, but we also have very high inflation. And that translates into stagflation when nobody is making any money, but you can't earn any interest either.
Because all of it presupposes that I know what the government is going to do, and they're going to do something. And I have no idea what they're going to do, and so I don't know what's going to happen. But something bad is going to happen because the government is going to do something.
Well, let's move on to your discussion on China entering the gold market in a big way. You talk about they are acquiring gold mines, buying up as much of the gold market as possible. And a lot of this, of course, would be due to that $1 trillion in U.S. reserves and foreign currency. They're a little bit concerned, Mogambo, that we might continue to play some games with our currency.
If you were the Chinese, what would you do with all the money? Exactly what they were doing. I would buy up that gold, buddy.
That's a solid plan. You also talk about the mysterious BIS gold swaps. This was an article by Adrian Douglas at marketforceanalysis.com, and you refer to the Bank of International Settlements' mysterious 380 tons of gold involved in a swap with some commercial banks. Do you have any other information on this?
No, I don't. It's all basically just denied, and we'll get back to you, and let's not talk about it, and we don't have any information, and they don't return calls, and all the rest of that. And now it's pretty much blown over as they had planned. It's just weird how everything's good. On the one hand, they're poo-pooing gold and have for years, and yet behind the scenes when they're trading it back and forth. Why? Well, if they're willing to lie about it and still accumulate it, don't you think you should accumulate it? Don't pay attention to what I do. Do what I say, but don't pay attention to what I do. Don't do as I do. There are people who are short and powerful people and people who know each other, and everything's connected to everything else. And who knows how many variables there are on these forces on what's going on. So I have no idea. But the only thing I can basically line is the weight of history is an inexorable force. Gold is going to go to the moon. The dollar and other fiat currencies that are being still abused are going to go to squat in value.
So in the final analysis, let's not worry so much as to why, because there could be any number of factors that send the metals to the moon and to a moonshot.
It's inevitable, yeah. We've got 4,500 years of one dirtbag government after another borrowing and spending itself into bankruptcy and all the shenanigans they went through trying to get their way out of this thing. And what happened with the price of gold? Every single time it went to the moon when priced in a depreciating currency. So gold will go to the moon when priced in another depreciating currency, which is the U.S. dollar.
And we have a government that seems as though they are absolutely determined to accelerate that process.
It's getting so embarrassing to be an American anymore. These are the people we're electing. Just how much money is being created and how much money deficit spending. Now they're spending $1.6 trillion a year. That's just a deficit. More than the amount of money they collect both personal income and business income taxes. That's just a deficit. What in the world do you think is going to happen to us?
For folks that want to find out more about your Mogambo Guru report, as I know they're going to find as entertaining and educational as we all do, why don't you help them direct their web browsers, please?
Well, thank you very much. That's very complimentary of you. And if they so desperate for entertainment that they would want to read more, go to dailyreckoning.com. And I'm there somewhere, usually at the bottom.
Appreciate your time today, Richard, and hope that the weather improves and you and your family can enjoy sunny weather away from the bunker there.
Okay, thank you.